David, let's chat a little bit about how the market is going.
I got to tell you, when you look at the numbers, the market is a lot better than we all think it is, and it's certainly a lot better than what the public thinks it is. We're seeing very balanced inventories now in single family. In the last 6 weeks, we've saw inventory drop over 2 points for condos. Still high for them, and we'll go into those numbers in a couple of minutes, but you're seeing realtors that are getting very busy. It's almost like we're time lagged 2 months behind a normal year.
Right.
And we're seeing some pent up demand that's coming through. I think buyers are realizing and everybody's feeling a little more comfortable. We've lived with lower price oil. It's been bumping up nicely. And people realize the world has not come to an end and life will continue.
Well, I think too that there's a lot of people kind of waiting for the bottom to fall.
And that's always the problem, is convincing your buyer that you either want to be right near the bottom, at the bottom, or as it's climbing out. Far too many people wait to jump on the bandwagon once it's climbed up.
Well, and I think that's probably what people are starting to see a little bit now. It's like, okay, they probably thought that at this point it was going to get a lot lower. It hasn't gotten a lot lower, and like they still have to move.
Well, and that's part of the problem too with media. They focus on what they're hearing. And that really is the realtor's job. And part of the reason why we do all these segments right at the start is talk about what's happening in the economy, be knowledgeable, and be professional when you're talking to your clients, and being able to instill confidence into them to be able to move forward in the marketplace.
Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, well, let's start by looking at some of our prices this week. The price of oil, 49.51 versus 46.21 last week. And David, you mentioned too that it was flirting just above 50 last week.
It did. Late in the week, it popped above 50 for one day, which was really nice to see, and then eased back down. Some of the speculation, it says, is based on the upcoming second OPEC meeting regarding production levels, which is coming up in the next month. So there's a little bit of push there. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that and what it'll do to the price of oil if they do the same thing they did last time, which was a no decision. We saw a small depression in oil again briefly, and now we're seeing a little confidence again. So
good, thank you for the information. Canadian dollar, we're down a little bit on that one, 76.76 versus 77.25 last week. David,
that's because I'm going away. So I have to go buy euros, so of course our dollar's going down.
You know what though, the euros, I've been looking at euros and the euros are getting a little bit better, just because the euro in itself is starting to suffer a little bit more, which is helping us out.
Well, and really looking at it, it's more about, again, and still has been, that the US dollar is getting stronger. But one of the things that's really helping our dollar and supporting it is the strength of our eastern economy and how well the Golden Triangle and right through to the Montreal area and production areas are doing. We did see a significant drop in our GDP because of loss of oil with the Fort Mac fires, and that will affect the economy short term. But as we all know, they're starting to move back up in there in the next week, and we're starting to ramp production back up to normal levels, which will be good to see Fort Mac getting back to work and surviving and moving on.
Being able to do a bit of oil, be able to participate in that $50 a barrel mark finally, right?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah. David, why don't you take us through the number of listings right now?
Okay, in Metro Calgary right now, we have 6,502 listings versus 6,525 last week, so we're looking at a very minimal difference. So we seem to be dealing with the flow that's coming on, as well as getting rid of some inventory that's already there. Red Deer down to 650 from 673. So we're starting to see a real balance to the market versus what's coming in versus what's leaving, which is good to see.
Absolutely.
I like nice evenness. It instills confidence in people. They're not seeing big highs and lows.
Right. I'm looking at our months of inventory, exactly to your point. We are sitting in Calgary at 3.32, so very, very balanced. Single family homes is 2.53, which is incredible. And condos is high, but you're right, it's dropped a little bit down to 5.29.
Well, and even within those numbers, we really have to look in the sweet spot zone of that 300 to 500 range. The inventory is quite limited, and stuff that is going on is coming off incredibly fast.
Yes.
I'm the president of our HOA in Panorama Hills Estates, and we keep an eye on the solds so we can inform new owners. And I'm seeing them coming on and off in under a week. So we're seeing a lot of activity in prime areas that we haven't been.
Well, I think a lot of buyers have been waiting Like talking to a lot of realtors, there's a lot of buyers for the last couple of months who just haven't seen anything that they've liked. So I think it's coming to the point now where something comes up and decisions are being made.
Well, and it's also the case too, they see something they like, but as to your point earlier, they're waiting for prices to get better.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes them losing that one they liked, and they go,
Yes.
oh, and it kind of kicks in and gives them a little understanding that if you like it, buy it, because it might not be there tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. David, talk about our surrounding areas for inventory.
Surrounding areas, we're seeing a little bit better in absorptions as well. Okotoks at just over 4 months at 4.08. Airdrie strengthened quite a bit in the last little while at 3.54. Cochrane at 5.64 months. Strathmore 5.73, which is much better than it was doing. Not that long ago, they were over 11 months. Sundre, new this week that we've added in, is 11.25, so I don't have numbers to compare, but that could be an influx of possibly of rec properties that have come on the market this time of year. And Red Deer looking pretty strong at 3.69, just above sort of the balanced market, but very close to it. They're usually 2.5 to 3.5 months supply is they consider to be balanced. And right now with our benchmark price sitting in Calgary at 441,000.
Awesome.